Alright guys, Al asked me to make a video on how I tie my rigs, so I'm going to show you guys. Check it out. Get your leader. This is just 20 pound. I use 15 or 20 usually. Tournament fishing, I will go to 25, just because I know we're going to be fishing structure. I don't want, get a rub and lose a big fish because I'm fishing 15 pound, trying to show off. So that's how I fish. Got your jig, FOMF jig, custom color. There's your leader. Just gonna go through. Now what you're gonna do, now you get that, make a big loop. Usually like 4 or 5 inches. Now just do, you wanna keep your jig right there, you know what I mean? Pinch it right there. You're gonna wrap that tag end right there around a couple of your fingers, so that way you make a loop so that doubled over line is looped. Now, there's still your tag end, and your jig's still hanging out down here with just the line going through at one time. Okay, so now I have to switch hands, but so now you got that just like that. All right, you take your jig. All right, you're gonna go through that doubled over line 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. All right, now you got this. Look, here's your tag end. That's the loop that you made. There's your jig, still like that. Let me grab that right there. And there's your 3 wraps that you did with this jig going through the middle. All right. Now what I do is basically I grab the tag end right there. I take my pinky, I put my pinky in that loop, and I work that knot down. All right. That knot down to about that high off. See, about that high off. Now that knot basically all it did was slide down your doubled over line with your tag end. All it did was just move its position. Now I'm gonna just pinch it there and just pull it taut. That's it. Pull taut. Alright, then I pull once on just the fluoro, and then I'll take my knot, and I'm not like yanking on this by any means, but I'll just cinch it just a little bit. Give it a little bit of a pull. Take that. Cut off your tag end. Gone. There you go. Now your jig's on a loop. Alright? I feel like I get more action like this. So now run yourself off. I usually fish about maybe 3.5 feet for my rigs. So I'll run off about 4 feet, so that way I can have line to make my dropper loop 1, and 2 attached directly to my main line. So in this case I'm not going to run off that much, but I'm just going to run off a little bit. Run off your however much leader you guys like fishing. Some guys like longer leaders, some guys like shorter leaders, some guys like the leader all the way to wrap around the reel. It's more preference really. So let's cut that off there. Alright, now you got your jig. There's the end of your fluoro. Alright. Now as far as your hooks, or your teasers or whatever. That's all personal preference. I like using big bait holders myself. I will fish teasers once in a while, but most of the time it's a bare hook. That's it, with a grub, nothing more. So now, going through the hole of the hook, you're going to feed that line, feed that hook all the way down. See, there's your hook on the same line. Fucking dog's barking. Alright. So now, you gotta figure out your distance from your jig. It's all preference. I like 8 to 12 inches is where I do. 10 inches is mostly, but 8 to 12 inches is where I'll fish. So I don't have a lot of leader on here, so we'll just say that's 8 inches, right? Now, wherever you pinch below this hook at this point right now is going to be where your actual dropper loop is going to begin. So figure out, you can do it by eye now. So now you can hold the rig in front of you and look and say, okay, I want it a little higher or I want it a little lower, whatever you want to do, and just adjust your hook to where you want it. Pinch right below the hook. That's it. Just grab that line. All right. Now, that's all I'm doing. Look, just holding it right here. Okay. I got my other hands over here. See that hook's just floating? Make a loop where you pinched originally, where you wanted your dropper loop to start. So now you're left with that. You got a loop, got your hook in the middle, and here's your end of your fluoro, which is going to go to your main line. All right, now what I do is I choke up a little bit on the fluoro so I can make a bigger loop on top of that other loop. So now you got that. There you go. This is the end right here going to your main line. This is the end going to your jig. Here's your hook in the middle of the loop. Okay, this hand on this side is pinched where you want to put your dropper loop, and this is basically just, making the knot. Alright, so you're left with this. Now we're going to wrap 5 times, alright? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so now you're left with this. You got a hook down here. You got these wraps right up in here on both sides, right in front of where you pinched originally. And you have a loop in the middle. What you need to do now is you need to feed this hook through the bottom of this loop up top. Okay, easiest way that I do it is I put it on my chest. I basically wait, get your shirt kind of bolts up a little bit or folds, get the hook to rest on there, and then just slip the line around the hook to pull it through the middle of the loop right there. Now I'll show you right now. So here it is. So here's a ridge on my shirt. All I'm doing is just letting that ridge, hold the hook kinda. And here it goes. Now you're left with this. You got a hook. Get it off my finger. Coming through the middle of that loop from the bottom. Alright, now all you need to do now is just something, you need to rest it on something. I'm just using the edge of the table. You can use rod, the rod holder usually works good. The edge of the cutting table works good. But you just need to put a little bit of pressure on it, holding the, hook down on the edge, and now just pull the line going to your jig and your rest of your line that's going to go to your main line. Just pull that, and that knot is going to cinch up. And when it cinches up, it's going to leave you with this. Alright, there's your dropper loop right there. Alright, now here's your hook in your dropper loop, free floating in your dropper loop. okay? Never come out of there. Alright, you know, give it a good tug, make sure it's cinched down good. A lot of the times what I'll do sometimes is I'll grab the line, the leader itself and the hook, and I'll give a little tug like that just to pull, cinch the knot, and then I'll grab the jig and the hook and I'll pull those two just a little bit just to cinch the knot. And that's it. There's your rig. Okay, got your jig, there's your dropper loop with your hook inside your dropper loop. Alright, now we're going to attach it to your main line. I don't use terminal tackle ever. Alright, everything is knots. So what I do is I take the end, of your leader, make a loop. 4 inches, 5 inches, whatever you're comfortable with. Alright, doesn't really matter. There you go. You got that. You're pinching it right there. Tag ends right there. Alright. Now all you're going to do with this is that big loop that you just made. Slide your fingers down. Make it a little loop with the same amount of tag end. That's all I'm doing. I'm just pinching it in a different place. Nothing special. Alright. Here's your main line. Braid. It is on there. So this is 20-pound Sufix 832. Big fan of this line. Cast good. It's actually thinner. It's pretty cool. So now you got that and that. You're gonna go through that loop that you made right there. You gotta remember, whatever way you go through at the end, when I show you this, you're going to want to go back out the opposite way. So if you go in this front side looking at you, make sure when you're done with the knot, you're going back out the back side of this loop right here. But I will show you. This is an extremely simple knot. I tie it in seconds. You could do it with wet hands and in 4-footsies. All you're going to do now is pinch that loop that you made in your main line with your other hand, okay? Pull your braid, maybe like, I don't know, 6 or 7 inches out from that. And then what you're going to want to do now is you're going to want to grab that loop that you made with your leader going to your jig. See this one right here? You're going to want to grab that. How I grab it is either I take it and I put it in front of or behind my first 3 fingers and out where my pinky is right here, like that. And then I can pinch it just like that at the front. And that's what it looks like now. So you have that line going right through the middle there. Alright, so you got that like that. So now you're pinched where that loop was. You're still holding on to both those, the tag end and the end going to your jig. You're going to wrap your braid 19 times around the doubled line right there. Alright? So just 19 wraps. Alright, that's 19 wraps, okay? Now, I went in the front side of this hole. Can you guys see? I went in the front side of this, so now I'm going to go back out to the back side. So all I'm going to do now, take my braid, feed it through the back side of that, and all I'm doing is just pulling it in. That's it right now. There you go. Can you see that? One going in, one going out. There you go. Now you can see it. That's what you're left with. You got this on the one end, and you got that on the other end. All you're going to do now is continue to hold on those two doubled over, mono or your fluoro, and you're going to pull on the braid. All right, and as you're pulling on the braid, just keep sliding that down, sliding it down, a little spit, slide it down. Now you're at this point. Now what you're going to want to do is holding all those lines, the tag end and the line itself, and then the braid and the tag end of the braid. Now you're going to hold all four of those and pull as hard as you can. All right. Now you're left with this. You got your braid tag end, and you got your fluoro to your braid tag end over here. All right. Now what I do is I'll pull my my fluoro going to my jig and the tag end. I'll give it a little tug just to cinch the knot a little bit. Then I'll do the same thing with the braid. I'll pull the two braids a little bit just to cinch the knot. And this is important here too, because it could bite you in the ass. But after doing that, you want to make sure you pull again on these two as hard as you can. Just because when you do that, the actual, you wouldn't have been able to see, but you'll see the knot actually spreads out a little bit. So if you cut your tag end before you actually pulled it again, that there isn't actually a tag end anymore hanging off the end of the knot. The end of the fluoro is inside the wraps of the braid instead of exiting the braid over here. And it will pull, it can pull, happens. So you got these locked down. Get your cutters. Mine suck. These are my trout fishing ones. Took a beating this year. Oh. Of course, gets all tangled up. Alright, well, all you gotta do is trim your tag ends. It's gonna be difficult. There's no way I'm doing this whole video over, just fucking. Alright, well, you're not supposed to tangle it like that, but I did. So, besides that tangle, next step is cut off your tag ends. I leave, just a little bit, not a lot, on my braid, just a little bit there. I'll cut, just like that. And then as far as on my rig, the tag end to my jig, I'll cut that one. I'll leave that one just a little bit longer. You'll see I'll leave it just like, I'll leave it just like that. Just a little bit, just enough to know it's there, but not too much where it's going to get hung up in my guides and stuff like that. You can trim it way back if you wanted to, just how I do it. That's it. Now you got your braid going straight to your rig, to your fluoro, whatever you use. Coming down, you come down. Now you got your dropper loop with your hook inside your dropper loop, and then your jig in a loop. That's it, guys. Catch them up.